Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Communicate Great podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Poe, and we have a very special guest with us tonight, Jessica Frasier. And so, hello, Jessica. Hey,
Hi, Tracy.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. We've got a little break in the rain and we've needed the rain, but I also now need the break so it can all get soaked up in our yard.
Yes, I have been. So, you are in Texas, just to let everybody know. I'm in
hmm
North Texas, and you're in South Texas, right? Is that where you are?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Houston.
Yes. And so I've been noticing the rain that's been hitting you all. So, I know
Yeah.
it's been a lot. So, I'm glad you're getting a break.
Yes. Yeah. But I also am very grateful for it. The garden needs it.
Mhm. Mhm. We are often in drought in Texas, so
Yeah.
anytime we get rain, it's like, "Thank you, Lord." Okay, so we've recently connected, and the reason why I wanted you to come on is when we were having our conversation last, you said something that just caught my attention, and you were talking about emotions and energy. And so I really want you to talk about that in a minute, but just to let everybody know who you are, can you just introduce yourself and talk about what you do?
Sure, sure. So I am a licensed professional counselor, about to be licensed professional counselor supervisor. I just turned in that paperwork, so I'm really
Nice.
excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And I have been in private practice since 2019 and started off in private practice as a grief therapist.
Mm,
So grief is my specialty. That's where I kind of thrive in the world of mental health. And
mm,
over the last few years, I've started incorporating more holistic wellness in my practice. So, working with
mm,
grievers, but then also working with traditional mental health conditions like anxiety and depression and stress management and all of the things, and teaching people how to be well holistically. So, lots of
mm.
times people think that our physical health and our mental health are separate, and they're not. They're very intricately connected. And so, I love teaching people about that.
That's very interesting that you just mentioned that because I was having a conversation with one of my friends, Dr. Melissa Oden, who is going to be one of our experts on a new community that I'm launching. I don't know if we talked about this. It's called Know Thyself, a Glow and Grow community. And so it's going to be all about just really analyzing yourself. And it's going to basically be an area with so many different resources. So I think we talked about that, did we?
Yeah, we did.
And
I'm super excited for you.
I'm going
Yeah.
to bring you on, I think. Did we talk about bringing you on as one of
Yes.
the guests? Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. So good. You'll be part of that. But anyhow, I was having this conversation with Dr. Melissa Oden, who will be on there as well. And she's all about stress and women. And she was talking about the exact same thing, that when you are not well physically or mentally, it's like it's all
hmm
interchanged. I forget exactly what she said, but anyhow, so it just echoes beautifully what you just said. So, yes. Okay. So, what brought you to this?
To the field?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that most therapists, if you ask them why they do what they do, it's because they have a story, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
either are have overcome their struggles or are continuing to overcome them. And so I'm not unique in that, in the sense I also have a story. And
Mm-hmm.
my story is full of grief and loss from a very young age. And over the years, I experienced loss in healthy ways and then some very unhealthy ways. And then as I got older and realized that I was helping other people through their loss more than they were helping me in support group settings, that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of the, oh, this is what I need to do in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So, you have your story, you experienced loss at a young age, you figured out this is what you want to do. So this is the Communicate Great podcast, and
Mm,
and we are all about giving people tips and tricks to help them level up their communication. And so our goal, as I say, whether it's for your personal life or for your professional life, we want to help you with your communication skills so that you can build deeper connections with the important people in your life. So I know that mental health and communication are just so interwoven that there's going to be so much for us to talk about. So, can you just maybe give our audience some insight into communication and how they mix together? In addition, what are some tips?
okay. So I had a whole plan on what I wanted to talk about tonight, and then as you're
Okay.
speaking this out loud, I'm like, "Oh, but there's this, and there's this, and there's this." So, if I go a little bit on a rabbit hole, it just reeled me back in.
Okay. Go.
So, first and foremost, I believe that we are created perfectly. I don't think God messed up. I think we messed
Mm,
ourselves up. And
mhm,
so, but the good news is we're created perfectly. And if we treat our bodies the way God intended, we can get to a place of wellness. So,
mm,
no matter how far off we are in dealing with our emotional health and our mental health, we can get back to that place of wellness if we treat our bodies
wow,
correctly. And so, with that, I go back to like day one of birth. When we are born crying. We are
mhm,
born instinctively knowing how to communicate. We know we
mm,
have to get our needs met. And so, how do we do that? We cry. If our
wow,
diaper's been changed and we've been fed and we're still crying, it's because we need connection, and we cry
mm,
until we get that
wow,
connection. And so that's instinctual. We're born
mhm,
knowing how to get our needs met. The problem is the older we get, society and our loved ones trying to protect us mess us up, right? They
mm,
teach us how not to deal with our typically perceived negative emotions. So I don't think there's good and bad emotions. Again, I don't think God messed up. I don't think he gave us something that was bad. But I
mm,
do think that there are pleasant and unpleasant feelings. I do think that some emotions are uncomfortable, but there are no bad feelings.
okay,
But we tend to internalize sadness and anger and
uh-huh,
grief and distrust, all those things as a negative emotion.
mhm,
Because when we're little, people say, "Don't feel bad. Here's a cookie. Don't feel bad. Let's go for a run. Don't feel bad. There's plenty of fish in the sea." So, from a very, very young age, the people who love us, and this is never out of malice, and I want to say that time and time again, this is not out of malice. It's because they love us and they
mhm,
don't want to see us hurting. And so they say, "Don't feel that feeling."
mhm,
Well, the problem is that feeling doesn't go away because somebody told us not to feel it. We
right,
just then internalize it and keep it to ourselves.
mhm,
And so over the years, whenever you get to be a teenager and your parent says what's wrong and you say nothing,
mhm,
well, of course they're going to lie through their teeth. They've been taught their entire life not to feel bad. There's
wow,
research from Kent University that says by the time somebody's 15 years old, they've heard over 23,000 times some version of "don't
wow,
feel your feelings."
right. Well, and you think about it, oh, big boys don't cry.
Right.
Be a big
Right.
girl, be a big boy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow,
be a strong, independent woman. I mean, so many times, right? So we're taught these things. And
wow,
so then we get to adulthood and we wonder why we're depressed. We wonder why we're anxious. We wonder why our body hurts and we have ulcers and jaw pain and all. It's because we've kept all of that in our body. And you
wow,
started by saying emotions are energy, right? And
mhm,
so all emotions are energy, and typically perceived positive emotions are socially acceptable. And so when we are happy, we smile, we
mhm,
laugh. When we're
mhm,
excited, we clap our hands, we jump up and down for joy. What is that doing? It's getting rid of that energy.
right,
Emotions are meant to be felt and experienced. And so
right,
those, we feel them, we experience them with other people, and then we go
right,
back to a state of like contentment or homeostasis. But
mhm,
the problem is when the negative feelings happen, that's still energy in our body, and that's meant to be felt and experienced. We're meant to get
mm,
it out of our body, but we've been taught not to. So then it stays in our body. And when we talk about
wow,
communication, our body screams at us. Our body is screaming all the time, communicating with us like, "Listen to me. I have this thing I need to deal with. I have this energy that needs to get out of my body."
wow,
And when we choose not to listen to it, then we have some pretty awful ramifications.
mhm, mhm. I have to say that, I'm not gonna say who, but I was having a conversation with somebody one time who was very ill, but also very bitter,
Wow.
angry, and I just it just hit me, and I basically said, your anger and your bitterness are pretty much killing you." And the person said, "I know."
Mm,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
But
So
I know, but
mm,
then probably don't know what to do about it.
right, right. Yeah. No, I agree.
Mhm.
I absolutely agree. Okay, so I had never heard until you said that feelings are energy, and I just wow, that is so good. Okay. So now what tips though do you have? So we've got this energy. We're
Mm.
laughing, we're clapping, we're cheering. That is coming out, right?
Yeah, right,
But all of the things that are perceived as the negative emotions that nobody wants to deal with. Somebody's passed away. I don't want to watch you cry. Somebody,
right.
I don't want to, and so I'll just use me as an example. For years when I was growing up, I hated crying in front of anyone. I just
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. And I'm sure somewhere along the way I got that message, you don't cry in front of people, or I cried in front of somebody and maybe they made fun of me. I don't remember. I just remember growing up I did not want to cry in front of anyone. And then one day I just started crying in front of people. There was a catalyst, but I just started and at first I was like and then I thought, "No, it really is okay to cry in front of
Mm,
people." So you've got these negative things that we're feeling. So give us some tips on listening to our body communicating
right.
with us saying, "Hello." Talk about
Yeah.
that.
So our body knows what we need.
Mhm.
Our body is primed in the midst of an event to deal with that event.
Mhm.
And we often dismiss it, or we say, we'll deal with that later, or it's okay, it's not that big of a deal, or whatever it is, the things that we've
Mhm.
been taught. And so then that stays in our body, and then eventually it forces its way out. And it's almost rarely pretty when it forces itself
Mhm.
out. And
Mhm.
sometimes it turns into panic attacks, uncontrollable panic attacks, um, tears that you can't stop. And that's what
Mhm.
people are normally so fearful of is if I start, I'm never going to stop. And
Yes.
so like your body just jaw clenching. When my dog died, I had to go to the dentist. I thought I had a cavity. I thought I had a really bad
Mm.
cavity.
Mhm.
And my dentist said, has anything stressful happened to you? Do you clench your jaw? Do you grind your teeth? I said, no, I've never done that. And I was 25 when he died. And he said, well, you're clenching your jaw. Something stressful has happened. And I realized, oh, my dog, who was
Mm.
15 years old and went through life with me. And so
Mhm.
it comes out, right, if we don't deal with it. So then how do we deal with it?
Mm.
The most important thing is to honor your body. And so when your body has that tearful sensation, let it come. When your body has that pit in your gut, speak out loud whatever it is that you're feeling. And we have to
Mm.
do it with safe people. So I always
Mm.
teach people Galatians 6:2 in the Bible says, carry each other's burdens.
Mhm.
We are meant to walk with people during
Mm.
hardships. We are meant to do that. And then it's supposed to be reciprocated, right?
Mhm.
Whenever we're struggling, we have people in our life that are safe that help us and vice versa. And so it's important to have safe people in your life. And
Mhm.
safe people are people who are going to listen without judgment and not try to fix you.
Mhm.
That's the hard thing because
Mhm.
the people that love us, who we want to be our safe people, love us and they do
Mhm.
not want to see us in pain. And so they try to fix it. And
Mhm.
so we have to train them sometimes if they're not very good at it
Mhm.
because they're trying to fix it. We have to train them that it's okay not to fix it, that I just need you
Mhm.
to be here. I need you to be in this space with me, hearing me, loving me, hugging me, not trying to fix it, just being physically present.
Mhm.
And so, the way I do that with my husband is I say, "I need to tell you about my day, and I don't care what you think."
Oh, I like I like that.
But that gives him permission. That's his way of saying, "Okay, I'm gonna be 100% present because you need to talk, and I don't have to fix it." And what a relief to give
Right,
somebody that, to say, "I don't
right.
expect you to do anything other than be here." And so we have to have people in our life who can do that for us.
Yes. I have to admit I am a fix-it person. My kids have a problem, my husband has a problem. I'm, like, already thinking of all the solutions, like, "Here are 5 choices, let's figure out which one is the best one," and so, I have to admit that I fall into that, and there are times when I think I just have that prompting, "Just listen. Just
Mm,
listen. Just hug
yep.
them." So it is hard. It is hard. I had a student, I taught communication, interpersonal communication for 10 years at college. And I had a student one time, and she was talking about how she and her husband talk about the toolbox. And so if she just needs to talk and she doesn't want him to fix it, she'll say, put away the toolbox. And
Mm,
that lets him know, okay, she's not looking for me to fix anything. She's just wanting me to listen to her. And so I said it in class, I was like, "Oh, that's good. I'm gonna use that." So I use that, but I always give her, credit for that. But anyhow, yeah, no,
well,
that's
that's a much
really
nicer
good.
way to say it than me.
I don't care what you
I
think.
like it.
Put away your toolbox. So anyhow, and so I did a retreat and we brought some toolboxes in, but I loaded them with, relational kinds of things. So that's kind of fun, I think. But anyhow, so no, that's really good. And that's a reminder for me that I can't fix everything, and maybe I'm not supposed to fix everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's great because, um, when we have some things aren't fixable. So you
Mm,
can't fix grief. That's
mhm,
where I come from. You can't fix it. There's nothing you can say that's going to bring the person back. There's nothing that you can say that's going to make it better. And because we love our people, we want to make it better.
mhm,
And if we can just take a step back and realize it's not my job to make it better, it's my job to help carry this burden and help be here in this
mm,
moment and just let them be whatever it is that they need to be, whether they need to be angry and scream, whether they need to cry in my shoulder, whether we just need to sit in silence and know that I'm here with you.
mhm,
Um, that's what we do, right? That's how
mhm.
we support our people, and it's not
Right,
through fixing.
right. Wow, that's good. All right, do you have any other tips on communicating?
Well, I'll say that whenever we're dealing with people, we often get hurt, right? And
Mhm.
so whenever we're communicating, sometimes we have to learn how to forgive without an apology.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
forgiveness is not about other people. It's not, it's about us.
Mhm,
And I've heard this said multiple times. The most recent time it was my pastor, but he said, drink lack of or refusing to forgive is like drinking poison and hoping the
mhm,
other person dies.
mhm,
And
mhm,
so for me, that's something that's so important for people to understand is forgiving is letting go. It's not saying that
mhm,
what happened is okay. It's just
mhm.
saying this thing happened, not okay, but I'm not going to let it affect me anymore and I'm going
Right,
to live my life. And
right.
so that's really about communicating almost with yourself, not with other
Yes.
people
Yes.
because
Mhm.
unsolicited forgives are almost never well received. So if
Oh,
you go
yeah.
up to somebody and say, "Hey, I just want you to know I forgive you for that thing," and they don't think they did anything wrong, well, then it could turn into something really ugly. And it doesn't really matter that they know that they're forgiven or not. And so I think whenever we're dealing with people and you're dealing with women who are business owners and who are constantly communicating with other people and dealing with conflict, sometimes we have to learn how to forgive without an apology. And then
Yes.
also on the flip side of that, learn how to apologize without being expected to be forgiven. So just
Mhm,
learning how to
mhm,
say, um, this thing happened and I felt, naming our feelings.
mhm,
So then I did this. So an
mhm,
example is
mhm,
I failed a test and I felt angry and I punched a hole in the wall. And I
mhm,
apologize, not for my feeling, not for feeling angry, but I
mhm,
apologize for damaging the wall. Right.
mhm,
And so that is the perfect way to communicate an apology because it's sincere. We're
mhm,
still validating and honoring our feelings because
mhm.
those are always appropriate and valid. Again, God didn't mess up. No feeling is bad. But what we do with them sometimes causes problems, and we have to own
Yes.
up to that. And we have
Yes.
to make amends in a way that is heard.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. There's a book that I read years ago. I don't think you and I talked about that. I used to do mediation. And so when I was going through that training, I did both the secular, but then I did faith based. And so there's a book called Peacemaker Ministries, and that's a book that I go through with people, and it talks about just some of the things you were just talking about. So anyhow, no, I 100% agree with you on that. We could go off on a whole other thing
Oh,
on that, but
so many
anyhow,
things.
so many things. All right, go ahead. What were you gonna
Well,
say?
I wanted to say, so there was something else I wanted to talk about communication, and it's really going back to honoring your body. Um, Women in business, so I am one
Mhm,
of those, right? But
mhm, mhm,
we carry stress
mhm.
because running a business is hard.
It's hard.
And we are one of the most stressed out generations there are, which is not good for our physical health or our mental health.
Mhm,
And so I wanted just to make sure that we touch on the fact that our bodies are brilliant and our
mhm,
bodies tell us what we need. When we have a fever, when we have a cough, when we have a headache, we intuitively know that is our body communicating with us. That is
mhm,
our body saying, you are sick, you need to
mhm,
rest, you need to take medicine, you need to
mhm,
whatever, drink fluids, whatever it
mhm,
is.
mhm,
And most of us are pretty good at acknowledging that.
mhm,
But we are not very good at acknowledging our body when it's not oh, that's the flu, like when it doesn't make sense.
mhm,
So things like psoriasis, things like heart palpitations,
mhm,
things like fluctuating weights and lack of sleep, all of these
mhm,
things are physical conditions, but
mhm,
so many times it's directly correlated with stress and stress alone. And so,
mm,
if we get in tune with our body and hear what our body's trying to tell us, those are often things that people will try to medicate instead of getting to the root cause of it. So, we'll put on
okay.
topical creams on our
Right,
skin, or
right.
we will take melatonin to help us go to sleep, or we will wear a blood pressure cuff to make sure that our blood pressure is okay and try and
Mhm,
medicate that sometimes. And
mhm,
if we get to the root cause, almost always it's because we have this excess of cortisol flowing through our body 24/7, and our bodies are not meant to
mm,
do that. Our bodies are not meant to
mhm,
have that hormone going through our body all the time. And so
mhm,
then we have our body is telling us, screaming at us, you are stressed. You are
mm,
overwhelmed. You are not practicing self care. And so
mm.
I'm going to keep doing things until you listen. And
Wow.
so if you don't listen and you put the topical cream on your skin, okay, well, that didn't work. So now I'm going to make you have a hard time sleeping. And if that doesn't work, now I'm going to
Mm,
make you have more colds because cortisol causes your immune system to weaken and then you're more
mhm,
susceptible to illness. And if that
mhm.
doesn't work, you're going to start losing your hair. And so your body,
Wow.
if anybody's going through physical symptoms and you have
Mhm,
not checked yourself, you have not
mhm.
checked to see, am I practicing self care? Am I taking care of my mental health? May that please be your first stop because
I love
that's
it.
something that we can fix without medication. We can learn how
Right.
to take care of our body and we can be in a place of wellness. And I do a retreat called Refresh and Restore, and it's all about getting back to this place of wellness, this God given wellness that we mess up. And so, how do we get back to that place? It's by treating the way our body the way it's intended to be treated. And if your body's
Mhm,
screaming at you,
mhm,
it may not be because you have a medical condition.
mhm. I love that. I love that. And yes, women in business, because often, not always, often we're also wearing other hats like wife, mom, caregiver, so many different things. And so you just take owning a business alone, and you are 100% correct. It is stressful. Then you add all of these other layers on. And I'm not saying men aren't dad, husband, caregiver either, but you specifically talked about women, and I have my Oh Yes I Can Women in Business group, and so women are always on my heart. So, yes, 100%. I'm really glad that you brought that up. That is true. So, okay, anything else? Any other tips, any other nuggets before we close out? Do you have anything? I don't know. Sometimes my guests have a PDF or a whatever. Do you have anything like that? We're going to leave your link in the information so if people want to get in touch, they can definitely get in touch.
Yeah, sure. So on my website, with when you put the link in,
Okay.
people can sign up for my newsletter.
Oh, I love
And
it.
that's where, so my private practice is called Hope Again, and it's because I truly believe we can't heal without hope. And so,
Uh-huh.
my hope is that I can provide that for you until you get it for yourself again. And so, in my newsletter, I always try to end it with a tidbit of hope, but then that's also where I talk about the retreats that I'm doing and the workshops and the trainings. I love speaking on these topics, and so I will
Mm,
travel all over the place to train people on grief, but then also on whole body wellness with biblical integration. And so
I love it.
that's kind of where you can stay up to date with me on all of the
Okay.
offerings.
Oh, good. Good, good. I definitely need to sign up with that. I know that we've talked about a couple of collaborations, and so I'm really
Yes.
looking forward to continuing to get to know you and to work together. So, Jessica, I just truly am grateful that you came on and you had some really powerful stuff to say. So, thank you for sharing with our audience. Thank you for sharing with me, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I
Thank you for
really,
coming on.
this was fun.
Oh, good, good. Well, we will definitely be doing it again in the Know Thyself community, and
Yes.
I will leave the information for that as well. Again, it's a new community that we're rolling out. And so, Jessica, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.